Hi, and congratulations on your 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X Premium. This is an unbelievable truck. Nissan did a great job with the redesign, and that's why you bought one. So let me go through and show you everything that you're going to get with this, because it is drastically different from the previous generation. We want to make sure that you understand everything. At the end, if you still have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can call, text, email, or stop in to 60 Baker Drive with O'Regan's Nissan here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and we'll answer any questions that we can for you. Let's have a look at what you got with your new truck. We're going to start here at the infotainment system with this beautiful 9-inch display. This is really nice, full color, full touch screen. Wicked job that was done on this. You can see everything's easy to access here, all my presets. I can change the source of my audio just by going up here, and I've got AM, FM. Satellite radio is going to be free for the first 3 months. After that, if you want it, just give them a call and subscribe to it. If you don't, it should just stop for you. And if you do want to subscribe, once it stops, it will revert back to the preview station where there is a toll-free number that you can use. USB 1 and 2 are labeled down here. 1 is a Type-C USB, 2 is a Type-A USB, so your more traditional one, and then you've got Bluetooth. What you don't see here is audio sources, is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which do come standard on this vehicle, and they will appear once you start to use them. So we're going to come back out of here. The next thing I want you to notice is the beautiful navigation system that's on this with free updates, which I'll show you in just a moment how to go through and do that. But with your nav system for your destination, if you know where you're going, simply start off with the street address. You can change the state or province, your house or street number, and then the city that you're in. Or if you're just looking for, let's say, the nearest coffee shop, I can go into points of interest, coffee shops, and it's going to start with what's closest to me and then work its way out. And you can see there, it'll give me directions to any one of them. All I got to do is tap on it, and it's going to take me right where I want to go, setting as a destination, and then I can hit start. I can change the route, but this will give me the quickest, easiest route to get there. So we're going to back out of here again, right back out to our map. Now, for those updates that I talked to you about, we're going to go to settings, and then we're going to go to info. We're going to move over, and then from here, we're going to go into system information. Now, I have 2 other tutorials on how to do the updates, either by Wi-Fi or by USB. Just follow either one of them. You can do software updates on your vehicle right here, which will keep your system software up to date. Or you can go into the map, and you can do it by Wi-Fi or by USB. Makes it really easy to go through, and those updates are free, as I mentioned. There is no restriction on it. Anytime Nissan puts out an update, you can go ahead and update that. We're going to press the audio button just to get back as quick as possible. Our settings for connections, and then add new is where you want to go if you're going to add a new phone in. Now, if it's an Apple phone, just follow the directions, hit this. It's going to pop up. You're looking for My Frontier when you go into the settings and then Bluetooth settings on your phone. Tap on it. As soon as the number pops up, confirm it, press a pair, and then it's going to ask you to allow to be able to sync your contacts. Just go ahead and do that. If you're on an Android phone, same thing. Go into the settings and then the Bluetooth settings. You're looking for My Frontier. When the number pops up, press pair. You're going to press allow twice in this case. Also, if you have a lock screen on your phone, on your Android phone, you then need to back out to the main settings, go down to lock screen, and then you're going to go into trusted devices, or sorry, smart lock, and then trusted devices. You're going to add a trusted device, and you're going to add My Frontier. This just makes sure that your vehicle will not disconnect your phone while you're driving. And again, we're just going to pop back out as fast as possible. For your time to set the clock, go into settings, and then I'm going to say clock. Now, I'm set to auto because this one has a navigation, therefore I never have to worry about it. Makes it very, very simple. Takes care of it all based on the time zone that you're in and if it has daylight savings time or not. Now, we're going to go into reverse here just for a moment so that you can see the backup camera with the 360-degree round view monitor. Now, also with my backup camera, because this vehicle is equipped with a fully wired in Class 4 tow hitch, I can also see I have a blue line here to help me line up with that hitch. And as I move the vehicle, if I'm coming in on an angle, it shows me exactly where I'm going. So I'm going to go back to just nicely lined up there. Also over here, I have a 360-degree bird's eye view around the vehicle, which allows me to park a little bit easier. And if I'm pulling into a parking spot, so I can go into drive, my camera disappears, but if I press the camera button, I now see out the front of the vehicle. And again, I have distance markers just to show me how close I am to it. But if I press that camera button again, if I'm parking next to a curb, I want to put this yellow line right on the curb itself. And once I do so, that's going to have me exactly 6 inches from the curb. If I press it again, it's back off. When you turn it on with that front view, it will stay on for 2 minutes or until you hit 10 kilometers an hour, or physically turn the camera back off. So we're back in reverse. We're going to move down. We've got a dual climate control system here. Really great feature so that you and your passenger are both very comfortable. What I recommend is finding a temperature that you're comfortable with and press the auto button. So right away you see where my airflow has changed, and I'm going to drop this back down, which will take us out of auto, but that also turns on the fan. So what it's doing right there is trying to get me up or down to that temperature as fast as possible. The closer I get to that temperature, it will readjust the fan accordingly and my airflow where that's going accordingly. On the left here, this is my rear defrost, which is also my heated side mirrors. If I want to change where my airflow is going, the mode button will go through all of my options, or I can simply get to the windshield very quickly with this button right here. Now, I can change the temperature just like that so that each side has its own. Once you're in the vehicle on your own, simply push that and everything resets back to the driver's side. Down below here, I have heated seats in the front. I have a heated steering wheel as well. We already saw the USB ports. Now this button right here, while it's lit up, means that your parking sensors and rear emergency braking are active. However, if you're going to back up to a trailer or a bike hitch or bike rack or whatever, you're going to want to push this. And in doing so, it turns off the rear sonar and the rear emergency braking all at the same time. I'm just going to turn that back on there. I do see I have a wireless charging port there. When you have a phone sitting in place, this will light up a solid yellow. If there's any issue where it's not fully picking it up, this will blink a couple times and then turn back out. So just make sure that you pay attention to that. We've got a 12-volt power port here, as well as another one inside of your center console there. We also have our drive mode selector here. So I'm in 2-wheel drive, which is where you're going to want to be most of the time. You can flip into 4 high on the fly up to 90 kilometers an hour. To get into 4 low, you're going to want to go into neutral and then push in and turn to 4 low. And we see right away that gives me a bit of a camera view there. So I'm going to put it back over to 2-wheel drive, and I'm going to put us back in park here. We have an auto dimming rear view mirror as well as a moonroof. So really great features. And in the back there, you have a sliding rear window. Let's have a look at the steering wheel to see what kind of controls are on that. Now with this, before we look at the steering wheel, it is auto dimming and it's got home link. So you've got up to 3 garage door openers that you can set on it. And the easiest way to set it, and check your owner's manual if this method does not work for you, but with a garage door opener in hand, press and hold the button, press and hold which of these buttons you want to connect to. This light is going to turn red and it's going to be flashing. It's either going to start off slow or fast, and I apologize, I do not recall off the top of my head which it is, but as soon as it switches to the opposite, you can let go of each button and your garage door opener is set. All right, up front here, we've also got a beautiful new display here. So we've got some really crisp looking dials for my speedometer, my gas, my tachometer, and my coolant temperature. And then in the center here, we've got a beautiful 7-inch display here with a digital speedometer. Up top here, I can see my distance to empty on my gas tank. My maximum here, so as I pass by a speed limit sign, it's actually going to post the speed limit right here on this sign. And every time you pass a new one, it will readjust that. My outside temperature is listed right here. This is for my blind spot warning. Now, I have the exact same icon out on my mirrors out here, which I can see right there. And when there is a vehicle in your blind spot, that's going to light up out on your mirror. This one here is not going to unless you hit the signal light So if my driver's side is lit up and I signal to go left, out on the mirror it's going to start flashing. It's also going to flash down here as well, just to let you know. Now on my steering wheel here, I've got my cruise control. I have my on-off button here, which immediately pops up a new icon right up here. Now we're going to test something out here. Okay, so when I press and hold the on-off button, we saw that it changed the icon up here. That's because your vehicle is equipped with adaptive cruise control and it's automatic. When you turn it on, by default, it's in adaptive cruise control. And then we can use this button right here to adjust the distance that your cruise is set for. By default, starting out, it will be at 3 car lengths plus safe distance. You can adjust it down to 2 or 1. And just to put things in perspective, 1 car length plus safe distance while doing 100 kilometers an hour is approximately 2.5 to 3 car lengths. By pressing and holding the on-off button here, I go from adaptive cruise over to normal cruise, so it's no longer adaptive. Although the moment I turn it off and turn it right back on, we're back to adaptive cruise again. On the left side of my wheel here, I've got a number of buttons. We're going to start at the top. This is my source button. The source is going to change the source of my audio. So right away, I'm over to satellite radio, and then I go to Bluetooth. I'm going to move over to AM and then back to FM, all by pressing the source button right here. My up and down arrows are going to go through the presets on my radio. So it does show me that over there, and one of the screens up here, which we'll see in a minute, does go through that. We're going to skip this button for just a moment because that's going to change the screen here, and we're going to go through all those screens. Volume right here is the volume for my radio. It's very easy to operate. You can do the same thing using the dial right here. Now the other thing that your volume can be used for is when your navigation is set, or if you're on the phone. You can use that to increase or decrease those volumes as well. With the phone, you need to be on the phone in order to use that to increase or decrease the volume. With your navigation, as soon as your navigation system starts to talk to you, you can then increase or decrease the volume. But there is another method that you can do that as well. When we go in here, and then we're going to go into, not the sound, for the navigation, you can come in here and there will be an option in here that you can go through and you can set your sound all through here, making it very easy to do what you want to do. There's my guidance settings and my guidance volume. And then as I go through, there are other options here as well. So lots of options there. These two buttons here, my bottom button is going to answer a call or hang up. So if I have an incoming call, I just want to hit this button and it will answer the call. I can start speaking immediately. At the end of the call, I can just hit the same button and it will hang up. My voice button here will allow me to make an outbound call. However, it does do more than just that. And this is where things get really neat. I can press this and I get the Nissan voice recognition system, or depending on my phone and how new it is. If it's an Apple phone and Siri is set up, you can press and hold that and you'll hear the ding for Siri, and then you're accessing Siri instead of the Nissan voice recognition system. If it's an Android phone system and a newer model, then you'll have Google Assistant, which it's the exact same thing. Press and hold, you'll get Google Assistant. You can send text messages over voice. You can tell it to do things with your phone, or simply by pressing here with my navigation system. When I go to set a destination, all the buttons are there because I'm parked. When I start to move, they all gray out similar to this one here. That's because trying to set this while on the fly is a bit of a safety concern. However, if I press this button,
please say or select a command.
Navigation.
Navigation. Please say or select a command from the displayed list.
Street address, 60 Baker Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Please wait. 60 Baker Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Calculate route, adjust location, or change address.
Calculate route.
Calculating route. The route calculation is complete. Proceed to the nearest road.
So as you can see there, I can fully set that up by voice, and I can do that while I'm driving. So that way I don't have to pull over to do it. I simply hit this button here, just follow the commands the exact same way as I did there, and everything sets, and then you're good. And I never have to pull over in order to set my navigation. I'm going to cancel that navigation at the moment. So lots of options right here. But we are going to move back up to this button because this is going to change my screen up here. Right now I am on the home screen, which is going to give me a digital speedometer and my average speed. And my average speed is currently reset to 0, and I can press and hold the enter button in order to do that, making it very easy. Our next screen over to the right is going to show me in off-road situations. Right now I can see I'm in rear wheel drive, so I'm going to change that to 4 high, and you can see I'm locked into 4 high right there. It's also going to show me the pitch of the truck over here on the left side, so I can see how balanced I am and whether the truck is on any kind of an angle, maybe sitting a little sideways on a hill, whatever the case may be. I'm going to move to the next screen on the right. I have some auxiliary gauges here. I know some people do like to be able to track your temperature on the vehicle down here, as well as how your battery is doing, and this gives you that option there. We've got some more here for your oil pressure and the oil temperature. And then as I move across, I get some driving information. So this vehicle so far, and then on the top is my trip odometer. It's gone 20.6 kilometers. Now the fuel economy is showing ridiculous at 20.4 liters per 100 kilometers because it has only got 20.6 kilometers in 2 hours and 23 minutes. Once you start getting into some normal driving conditions, you're going to see some of the best gas mileage that you've ever seen on a Frontier. I have not yet had a chance to personally drive this, as this is the first one showing up on our lot and it's already pre-sold. However, the regional manager was saying he was getting numbers as low as 11 liters per 100 kilometers as an average in the Frontier that he drove for about 2 weeks. Our next screen over is our fuel economy. Now for either one of those, I'm going to move back to this one. I'm going to press and hold the enter button and everything resets there. So we see my fuel economy over here has also reset. Next screen across is my radio info. And then from there, I do have a compass. With the compass, this is related to my navigation system. If I had left my destination set, the compass actually changes to an arrow going up or right or up or left, depending on which direction your next turn is. And it will count down the distance on the screen there for you. Next screen, this is just a larger version of this small traffic sign up here. So the speed limit sign will show up larger down here, a little easier to read, but that's all this screen does. Now your vehicle is equipped with our entire safety shield. So this is really, really awesome. What that means for you is you have automatic emergency braking with forward collision warning in the front. And the forward collision warning is something that you will experience. The best example I can give is you're driving down the road at 50 kilometers an hour and a car up ahead of you is turning onto a side street and they're doing about 10 kilometers an hour around the turn. Once your Frontier gets within range so that the radar picks it up, it's going to recognize that you're closing that gap 40 kilometers an hour faster than what they're going. So inside the vehicle, it's going to beep at you and it will flash a warning here on the screen, just to let you know that unless circumstances change, there is a risk of a collision. As that car rounds that turn, nothing else happens and you carry on as if it never happened. Your automatic emergency braking, a few different situations that one will work. If that car, as it's rounding the turn, hit the brakes and stopped, or the car in front of you piled on the brakes, or maybe driving down the road at 50 or 60 kilometers an hour, a car coming out of a parking lot just pulls out in front of you without even looking. Inside the vehicle, it's going to beep at you. It will flash a warning up on the screen. Your gas pedal will push back against your foot a little bit, but you're not going to feel it because your foot's going to be moving to the brake. And if you don't get to that brake fast enough, it will start to apply the brakes for you to help avoid or minimize an oncoming collision. I have experienced this twice in the 4 years that we've been running these features, and it works remarkably well. Your pedestrian detection that you're also equipped with is going to work the exact same way, except it's going to work even faster because there's no forward momentum to that person who just walked out in front of you. You're also equipped with lane departure warning, so your lane departure warning is going to work at 60 kilometers an hour or higher. This is more of a highway feature. Driving down the road, it's going to utilize the camera up and behind your rear view mirror here to read the lines on either side of the road. If you start to drift out of your lane, right or left, your wheel's going to vibrate on you to let you know that you are drifting out of your lane. That way, when you're listening to your music on your Fender sound system, regardless of how loud you have it up, you will still feel that wheel vibrate if you're drifting out of your lane. Your blind spot indicators, as we saw, are out on the mirrors. And as we talked about, if your blind spot indicator comes on, and it will come on as long as part of a vehicle is in your blind spot on either side of the vehicle, it will stay lit up a dull orange. If we signal, so if my driver's side is lit up and I signal to go left while it's lit up, then it's going to start to flash out there. It's going to flash in here as well, and it's going to beep at me inside the vehicle just to let me know there is a risk of hitting whatever is in my blind spot. So have a look over my shoulder and check to see where it's at. As we move down here, you've got rear cross traffic detection in the back of this. So as you're backing out of a parking spot, if there's anything coming at you from either side, within approximately 2 car lengths inside the vehicle, it will beep at you, and whichever side it's approaching from, the blind spot indicator on that side of the vehicle will be flashing to let you know. You've got rear sonar and rear emergency braking that we talked about. So with that, I'm going to put this back in reverse again. We've got green, yellow, and red hash marks here. Once whatever is behind me gets within the green hash marks, it's going to slowly start to beep at me inside the vehicle here, and the closer I get to it, the faster the beeping is going to get. Now, once I get down near these red hash marks, if I'm still moving, then around those red hash marks, it's going to fully apply the brakes for me about 1 foot to 1.5 foot away from whatever is behind me to avoid any type of collision. With that said, if you keep whatever is behind you above the red hash marks, you have lots of room to safely open your tailgate, which we'll have a look at later. Now, as I mentioned, if you're backing up for a trailer or putting a bike rack or anything back there, you are going to want to turn that feature off using this button right here. That is our safety features. Now, my headlights are set for auto. Let's see if I can trigger them to come on by covering off the sensor there. And I may not have the right sensor covered, as there is typically at least 2. So we'll see if we can't get that covered off at some point here to trigger the headlights to come on. And you will have high beam assist with this, which is just automatic high beam. So when you push your signal indicator to the high beam position, that means that your high beams are automatic as well. So if I cover off the sensor on the other side over there, now my lights are on. And again, if I push into the high beam position, I can see a little green bullet with an A in it down there. That means that my high beams are now automatic as well. The sensor for your lights, so that it knows when it's getting dark or not, is located right up there on the dash, right next to the passenger side speaker. That is your safety features. Our next screen over to the right, it's going to be a tire pressure monitoring system. Now, once you start to drive, all 4 tires will appear here. On the axles in the picture, it will show you what the pressure should be set to. There is a 6 PSI variance. So if you go 6 below what that's supposed to be set for, it will trigger a warning. It'll pop up, tell you low tire pressure. No matter what screen you're on, it will pop up with that warning. Once that happens, pull into a station or anywhere that has an air pump, leave your Frontier running. As long as it's running, grab the air hose, go to the tire it says needs air, and start putting air in. When you get up to the proper pressure, as long as the Frontier is running, your horn's going to beep once to tell you to stop putting air in. If for some reason you continue putting air in or went to the wrong tire, there is an upper limit, and when it hits that upper limit, it will beep 3 times in a row. Please stop putting air in your tire at that point. You can either do the same thing to the other 3 tires so that they've all got the same pressure, or the preferred thing to do would be start letting some air back out of that tire. Once it gets back down to the proper pressure, the horn's going to beep once to tell you to stop. Our next screen over to the right is our settings. I have adjusted a few settings in here. So driver assistance, when we look in here, I want to make sure my lane departure warning is on. I want to make sure that my blind spot warning is on. My emergency braking should be on for each. And then my traffic sign, that's this one up here, that is currently on, as is driver attention. So that's a driver alert system that if you kind of bounce around in your lane a lot in a short period of time, it will pop up with a picture of a coffee cup and ask you if it's time for a break. It just knows that you're having to correct your steering a lot in a short period of time. Maybe you aren't as alert as you were when you first started. Maybe it's time for a tea or coffee or just stretch your legs or whatever, or I can press the OK button to make it go away. Traffic sign is on. Parking aids, again, they should all be on. Now, just for a point of reference, my back button is the left arrow right here. So we're going to come out of the driver assistance, meter settings, main menu. This is where you can pick and choose what stuff will show up on this menu that we've just gone through. I have everything turned on by default because I want all of that information available. And then as I come back and go into vehicle settings, I want to come down. Now, rear door alert is a safety feature. If you open the back door while this is on, and we typically would recommend alert and horn. So now if I open the back door to put anything in the back seat, no matter what it is, could be a child, could be an animal, could be a book bag, could be anything. When I get where I'm going, if I don't open that back door again once I get out, the horn's going to start beeping at me to tell me I forgot something in the back seat. It will not do that if you sit in the front seat and turn around and put something back there. It is triggered by opening the door. So we're going to turn this back off because I know this person getting this Frontier is an older gentleman and he's not going to want that on. But I do want to come down to the locking, and I want to set it to auto unlocked when we shift into park. That way, the moment I shift into park, it will unlock the doors and I'm not hunting for the lock and unlock button. We're going to come back another one here, and we're going to check the wipers to make sure they are speed dependent. If that's not on, turn that on as well. Then we're going to come down to maintenance and oil and filter. Make sure that's set for 8,000 because your oil changes are every 8,000 kilometers or every 6 months. You can also set time frames on the tires, the air filter, the brake pads, brake fluid, battery, transmission fluid, engine coolant, spark plug. The time frames for all of that stuff should be in your owner's manual, giving you all the information that you need to go through and set that. And then, if need be, if you set something wrong and you can't figure it out, just hit the factory reset, then come back and watch how I've got everything set here if you want it set up the same way. And that is all of our screens there. Over on the left side of our dash, we've got some buttons down here. So my emergency brake is right down here. You push that on and then release it. This button here with the lights on it, this will turn off any kind of sounds that goes with the blind spot indicators. Not everybody likes it, so it will turn all of that off and make the lane departure warning stop as well. My button here, so I can set this, because what I will see is in the back as we look, there is an actual plug outlet for the back seat and one in the bed of the truck. So that will turn the power on or off to that. I can turn on or off my cargo lamp down here. I have hill descent assist, which will help from picking up a bunch of speed coming down a hill and therefore be a bit easier on your brakes. We have a button to turn off the traction control. Now, for the most part, we recommend leaving that alone. You're in a four-wheel drive vehicle with 4 high, 4 low, and locking rear differential, which does show here on the screen as well. So there's not going to be a lot of circumstances that you really got to turn off the traction control. Slightly higher than those, we have the dash brightness for when our lights are on. Now, trip reset. If I look at my odometer, which says 36, and I push the trip reset, there is a trip odometer there that if I press and hold trip reset, it will reset. Same thing for trip B, and then we're back to the odometer. And if you are going to tow anything, we do recommend using tow mode. It will make it much easier on the vehicle itself. Your mirrors are just adjusted by turning to whichever side you want and then adjusting them from there. And then you've got your lock and unlock. This will lock all of your windows so that only the driver can control them. And you've got the controls for your windows right here. As we move around to the back seat, I can see I've got a little lever right here, and this is going to be hard to do with one hand. However, if I get this up, then I can also lift this, where I've got room to put extra stuff here. And again, I'm going to lift the same lever to drop the seat down. There's a little pull cord up here that if I do this, I have access to the back as well. Same thing on the other side, except over on that side, there is some storage underneath this seat. Also back here, I have 2 more USB ports. Now, where the 2 in the front will interact with the vehicle for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, these are strictly for charging. And there's that plug that I mentioned here in the back as well. Now, you do have a lumbar support on the side of your driver's seat that you just got to push forward as far as you want for the lumbar support. Moving around the back to the bed of the truck here, I can see I've got a spray and box liner. The Utilitrack system has been updated, so the channels are now only up along the top. No risk of ripping any bags or anything down on the bottom anymore, as that's gone. I've got a couple tie downs here in the back as well, and LED lights in the bed of the truck here so that I can see everything on top of the bed light up top. And as I mentioned, there is another plug here in the back. You just got to use that button up front to turn on the power. Your backup camera is right here, so make sure you keep that good and clean all winter long. We've got the wiring for our tow hitch down here, and nice dampers on the tailgate to make it really easy to maneuver that as well. And closes really nice and easy. Now, moving around the truck here, what we are going to see as well, because of that 360 camera, there's cameras underneath your side mirrors. And there is one in the Nissan emblem in the front of the vehicle here. Make sure you keep those very clear all winter. Also, in the winter, keep this spot here clean, because that's the radar for your vehicle, and the camera right up here in the window, because any obstruction on any of those will cause your safety features to turn off. The last thing I want to go over here is our key. So this is a drastic change from the previous generation. We now have push button ignition. So my push button is right up here. My key fob needs to be inside the vehicle for this to work. You also have some buttons here. So you have your panic button, unlock, lock, and you have remote start equipped right from the factory on this truck. To work that, you're going to press the lock button twice and then press and hold this top button for 5 full seconds. So count 5 Mississippis, and it will start from up to 200 feet away. When you start this, it's going to run for up to 10 minutes. When you get in, you still need to engage the vehicle. So no matter what you do, every time you get in, put your foot on the brake, press the start button, the vehicle will engage. It's either going to turn on or everything's going to light up from being fully engaged because you use the remote start. If you're running behind and need to add additional time, do the exact same thing. Lock, lock, press and hold for 5 full seconds. It will add another 10 minutes to the count from wherever you are in the count. So if you try and cheat the system and do it early, it's only going to add 10 minutes. So if you're 2 minutes in and do this, you now have a total of 12 minutes. But if you wait till about 8 or 9 minutes and then do it, then you'll be up to 18 or 19 minutes. If you decide you're not going anywhere, press and hold the top button for 2 seconds. It will turn it back off. You can remote start your vehicle twice or once with one extension without ever getting in. Once you do so and you get in, you need to get the vehicle up over 30 kilometers an hour in order to reset that so that it will do it again. Now, because it's a key fob, there is a battery inside of this. They're typically good for 2 to 4 years. If your battery starts to get low, you will get a message up here when you try and start it that says incorrect key ID. Don't panic, wait for the message to go away, try again, it should start. If your battery is so low that it either won't open the doors or will not start your vehicle. To get in the vehicle, on the back there is a little switch that if I push that over, there is a key for the driver's side door. Once I get in, I want to take the Nissan emblem on this and use this to push the button in while my foot's on the brake. It will still start even if the battery is dead in the key fob. We actually just experienced it with that Rogue, that pre-owned Rogue right there this morning. To change the battery, you can have the dealership do it, or you could do it yourself. Batteries you can pick up at Walmart, Canadian Tire, any big box store, or any of your groceries, or sorry, your drug stores are going to have them. Pop the key out, get something small like a little flathead or whatever in one of those 2 little areas, give it a twist, this will pop open. The battery inside looks like a watch battery, just a little bit bigger, and the number on the battery is your battery size. Once you've replaced the battery, simply clip it back together, take your key, put it back in place, and once your key is back in place, you're good to go. There's no programming or anything that needs to be done. Congratulations again on your 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X Premium. This is an unbelievable vehicle. Amazing job that they did with the redesign, but that's why you bought it, is all of these great features, the new look, the new drive. It's got a new 3.8 liter V6 with a 9-speed automatic transmission, so your gas mileage is going to be awesome. If you still have any questions after going through all of this, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can call, text, email, or stop in to 60 Baker Drive here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia for O'Regan's Nissan, and I'll do anything that I can to help out. Hope to hear from you again soon. I look forward to working with you for your next vehicle.